I still remember the moment the room went quiet. Not because the music stopped. Not because someone made an announcement. It went quiet because I walked into the wrong hallway at the worst possible moment. And in that moment, my entire life cracked open. There they were, my wife and my best friend, standing under the soft yellow lights outside the conference hall. Her hand rested on his chest, his arm wrapped around her waist. And then, they kissed. For a second, nobody noticed me. But someone in the hallway did. A co-worker turned. His eyes widened. Then another person looked. Then another. Whispers started spreading. Isn't that his wife? Oh man, I think that's his best friend. The humiliation moved through the hallway like smoke. I stood there, frozen, not yelling, not moving, just watching. Because when your heart breaks in public, the pain doesn't explode. It gets quiet, heavy, cold. The party was on the top floor of our company building. Glass walls everywhere. The city lights stretched for miles. Soft jazz played through hidden speakers. People laughed. Glasses clinked. It was supposed to be a celebration. Our company had just closed its biggest deal of the year. Everyone looked perfect. Black suits, polished shoes, elegant dresses. Even the CEO looked relaxed. Earlier that night, I stood near the window, just watching the room, feeling slightly out of place. I wore a simple navy suit. Nothing expensive, nothing flashy. Just clean, just quiet. My wife, Emily, stood across the room. She looked beautiful. Silver dress, perfect hair. People kept complimenting her. Every time someone asked who she came with, she smiled politely. Oh, my husband. Then she changed the subject quickly, like the word husband felt uncomfortable. At the time, I ignored it. An hour later, my best friend Mark arrived. Loud, confident, the kind of guy who owns every room. He slapped my shoulder when he saw me. Man, look at this place, he laughed. I smiled. Mark had always been like that. Big personality, big energy. People loved him, especially Emily. They joked easily, sometimes a little too easily. But again, I ignored it. Because when you trust two people, you don't search for betrayal. You search for reasons to believe everything is fine. Earlier that night, Emily embarrassed me once already. We were standing with co-workers. Someone asked what I did at the company. Before I could answer, Emily laughed. Oh, he's just in operations. Just. Such a small word. But it hit hard. One manager raised an eyebrow. Operations runs half this building, he said. Emily shrugged. Well, someone has to handle the boring stuff. A few awkward chuckles. I forced a smile. But something inside me shifted. Just a little. Around 10 o'clock, the CEO gave a speech. People applauded. Champagne glasses lifted. Music started again. The party relaxed. That's when Mark disappeared. Emily followed a few minutes later. I noticed, but I didn't say anything. Because accusing someone without proof feels ugly. So instead, I stepped outside for some air. And then, I turned the corner and saw them. When they noticed me, Emily jumped back. Mark looked pale. For 3 seconds, nobody spoke. The hallway was silent. People pretended not to stare. But they were staring. Emily finally spoke. It's not what it looks like. Funny how people always say that, even when it looks exactly like what it is. I asked one quiet question. How long? Mark opened his mouth, then closed it. Emily stared at the floor. That's not fair, she whispered. That was her answer. The whispers behind me grew louder. This is brutal. Someone quietly walked away. Everyone expected an explosion, but it never came. I simply nodded. Enjoy the party. And I walked back inside. The music was still playing. People were dancing, laughing, living their perfect night. But something had changed. Not the room, not the lights. Me. I stood by the bar, ordered water. The bartender looked at me carefully. You okay? I nodded. Yeah, but I knew something important. My life had just split into 2 parts. Before that hallway, and after it. That's when someone sat beside me. I hadn't noticed her approach. Her name was Claire, one of the board members. Sharp eyes, calm voice, maybe mid-50s. She studied me for a moment, then said quietly, You handle that better than most people would. I turned slowly. You saw that? She smiled slightly. Hard not to. I sighed. Embarrassing. She shook her head. No. Then she leaned closer. What's embarrassing is how badly they underestimated you. That caught my attention. Underestimated me? She placed a folder on the bar. You may want to look at this. I opened it slowly. Emails, financial records, internal documents. 2 names appeared again and again. Mark, Emily. But this wasn't about romance. This was about money. Company money. Claire watched my reaction. Like I said, she murmured, they underestimated you. I looked up. What do you mean? She tapped the folder. They thought you didn't know what was happening in your own company. The word company hung in the air. Something bigger was unfolding. Something much bigger than the hallway. Claire leaned back. You have about 20 minutes. Until the final presentation. I frowned. And, she smiled. After that, the projector is yours. Across the room, Emily and Mark stood together again, whispering, glancing at me. They thought the worst part of the night had already happened. They thought the humiliation belonged to me. But sometimes, the calmest person in the room is holding the final card. And tonight, I was done being underestimated. I opened the folder again. Emails, transfers, contracts, fake consulting agreements, money moving through shell accounts. The total number was circled. $1.8 million. Missing. Or more accurately, redirected. Claire watched quietly. You suspected something? For a while, I said, but I didn't have proof. She nodded. Well, now you do. Across the ballroom, Emily laughed. Mark said something. They looked relaxed, carefree. But Mark kept glancing toward me. Maybe guilt. Maybe fear. Maybe both. Claire leaned closer. You know why they felt comfortable doing this? I answered. They think I'm stupid. She smiled. Exactly. The lights dimmed. Someone tapped a microphone. The final presentation was about to start. People gathered near the stage. Excitement returned. Claire stood up. Time to move. Move where? She pointed toward the stage. To the control booth. Inside the booth, technicians sat at computers. Claire handed them a USB drive. We'll use this presentation. They scrolled through the files. Their eyebrows lifted. Oh wow. Through the window we could see the crowd. The CEO walked onto the stage. Applause filled the room. Emily and Mark sat in the front row. Still smiling. Still unaware. The CEO spoke. Before we end tonight, we have one final presentation. Mark straightened his jacket. Emily looked proud. They expected recognition. Instead, the CEO said, Please welcome, Daniel. A ripple of confusion spread through the room. Daniel from operations? People turned, looking for me. I walked out from the booth, down the side stairs, onto the stage. Slow steps, calm breath. The room went quiet. Emily frowned. Mark looked confused, then worried. I stood behind the podium. Good evening. My presentation won't take long. A few polite laughs. Tonight celebrates success. I paused, but success requires honesty. The screen lit up. A financial chart appeared. Outgoing company funds. Then another slide. A consulting contract. Fake services. Real signatures. Mark. Emily. Whispers spread instantly. People leaned forward. Mark stood up. This is ridiculous. I didn't react. I clicked the remote. More emails appeared. Transfer records. Bank confirmations. Gasps filled the room. Emily's face turned pale. Mark's confidence faded. The truth was now 10 feet tall behind me. I rested my hands on the podium. This company trusted you. I paused. And so did I. Mark slammed his hand on the table. This is a setup. He pointed at me. You can't just throw slides on a screen. I clicked again. Security camera images appeared. Mark entering the finance office late at night. Emily beside him. Another slide. System login records. Transfer approvals. Emily's username. Mark's authorization. The whispers grew louder. Mark tried to laugh. You still can't prove we took the money. I clicked again. Final slide. Offshore bank account. Transaction history. Account holder. Davis Consulting Group. Mark's company. The room erupted. People stood. Phones appeared. Someone whispered, "Oh my God." The ballroom doors opened. 2 security officers walked in. Calm. Professional. Mark saw them. His shoulders dropped. Emily stood slowly. "Daniel, please. Can we talk privately?" I answered gently. "You had 6 months." The final document appeared. Internal audit authorization. Approved weeks ago. This investigation had already started. I spoke calmly. For 6 months, someone moved company funds. We believed it was a mistake. But mistakes don't repeat. Mark was escorted out. Emily followed quietly. The room watched in silence. Before leaving the stage, I spoke one final time. People underestimate quiet people. They think calm means weakness. They think patience means ignorance. I paused, but sometimes calm people are simply waiting for the truth. The party slowly ended. No music returned. Just quiet conversations. People shook my hand. "Thank you. You handled that well." "Impressive." The CEO pulled me aside. "You've been saving this company money for 5 years." Then he handed me a document. Director of Operations. My promotion. Later, Emily approached me. Her eyes were red. "I'm sorry," she said. "I know that doesn't fix anything." I nodded. "I believe you're sorry. But some things break once. And they don't return the same." She understood. She turned and walked away. That night, my marriage ended. My friendship ended. But something else began. Self-respect. Clarity. Peace. Sometimes people think strength is loud. Anger. Revenge. But real strength is quieter. Sometimes strength is patience. Sometimes strength is dignity. Because people may betray you. They may embarrass you. But they cannot control your response. And your response defines everything. If this story resonated with you, let me know where you're watching from. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.